51, they're all painted black. So at nighttime, they're going to, like, especially in the desert, you're going to have a hard time seeing what it is. It's not like silver, like the old jets used to be, or bright colors, where that you could spot one. They camouflage it for nighttime, testing, and that's probably when they do most of their testing is at night. So then when people all these reports I was reading tonight, like all these reports, it seems like Reno, okay, Pyramid Lake, Las Vegas, which is right next to Area 51. Carson City is like 100 and some miles away. So you take all this stuff. Sparks, Nevada is, again, that's near Virginia City up there. Not that far away. So, these planes at night doing these testing, and people would see it, and they really could maybe interpret these things as like UFOs and orbs and stuff.
Right, and a lot of this new, especially drones, who knows, maybe we have a drone that can go from 0 to Mach 3, like right now. Now, granted, people would see that and be like, oh my goodness, that's a UFO. It can't be a human being in it. Well, fly that, but there's not. It could be a drone, but at night, it could look like a UFO doing some crazy maneuvers.
Well, don't forget, Las Vegas has one of the lowest sightings of UFOs in the country. And then you go into Washington State, and then you go into some of these other states which have a huge, even Alaska, a lot larger reporting of UFOs. But the UFOs being reported like in Washington State, for example, if you go on to like the UFO Reporting Center with Peter Davenport, they're describing them different than what I'm reading from the UFO Reporting Center out of Nevada. The people there are just basically, they're not really describing too much what it is. It's pretty much more like a orange fireball or a circular object or something that looks like a cigar. But it's all similar. Here you get into like other parts of the country, they don't describe these UFOs the same way.
And I would like to do some further research on that and see how close military bases are, because I bet some of those are related to ours and test different things in different areas of the country. But some of them, if there's no bases near or something, they could be legit, UFOs of unknown origin.
Yeah, and you would think, too, let's face it, okay, if enough UFOs got shot down in Nevada at one point, right, like Roswell and a few other places, maybe it's a no-fly zone for the aliens. They don't go into that state much.
That's right. And I think there was a second crash after the Roswell one, and I forget how soon it was after it, but I think it was probably looking for remnants of that first crash, and it crashed too, or they shot it down too. And that makes total sense. I mean, think about it. If you were on another planet and one of your vehicles got crashed down, you would definitely, especially military, would try to recover it so the enemy wouldn't learn your secrets and stuff.
Well, we do that. We've done that where we've had some drones and stuff that crashed in certain places, and we went back there and either destroyed it or tried to recover it because we don't want it to, get to the enemy for they could duplicate and find our technology. And it's the same way with the aliens. Maybe the same way. They want to recover the bodies. They want to recover the craft because they don't want us to have the technology and the information that could be gathered from that. But I don't know. It's really, the more you think about Area 51, it does make sense in the early state because, again, back in 55 and 56, you had the U-2 project, the spy plane. Again, that might shock people at night seeing that plane go because it was, a jet with huge, huge wings on it. You could fly up at high, where they wouldn't get hit by, missiles. Which Russia actually did manage to shoot, or the Soviet Union actually did manage to shoot one down, if you remember.
Oh, yeah. And just look back at World War II when the Nazis came out with the, the V-2 or whatever, when they were bombing England. Can you imagine the first few of those they seen coming? They've never seen rockets before. They would have been like, what is that? And I do know that after a while they would As long as you heard the noise, you were safe. But as soon as you heard that engine cut off from that rocket, it was bad news.
Yeah. Well, it's the same way. You're out, and you hear a gunfire.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the one you don't hear is going to get you.
Yeah. The thing about that, sound travels roughly 700 some miles an hour, where bullets are way faster. So yeah, you hear the sound way after the point, so to speak.
Yeah. I don't know. It's just, I'm hoping we can find out more information, on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday about Area 51. Even if it's folklore or not. But I can.
Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say another thing. I read that one of the rumors and myths or whatever, or alleged rumors, was that the moon landing was actually filmed at Area 51. That was one of the crazy things I read.
Yeah, well, again, I do feel we went to the moon. I really do feel that. Part of me does.
What do you mean there's a part that doesn't?
It doesn't, because there's a part of me, it says we went to the moon. Then there was a part of me that says I don't think our technology was up to it.
Well, it's weird because, in 50 years ago, a computer size of a house, which is pretty much your cell phone now, it got us there and back precisely, but yet we've never went back anywhere close to theirs. I don't know, and they say we've lost technology to even get us back to the moon, which is crazy.
Well, then how can we go to Mars?
I know. I remember 10, 15 years ago, they said by 2020 we'd be at Mars. Well, here we are. It's 2019 now. What are they talking, 2030?
No, they're talking, commercially, they're talking about, way sooner than that. But I don't want a ticket to Mars because it's a one-way ticket, let alone, what are you going to do how are you going to feed yourself? I mean, how are you going to get plants growing fast enough to, support you? To eat? How do you produce enough oxygen? How do you do all this stuff to survive? They were talking about, going even like on Mars and on the moon, creating, in these craters, like putting a tarp type of material and closing it off and making it airtight. But God, you don't know what could come crashing right through it.
With our technology, unless they've got technology we don't know of, with rocket power and Saturn rockets and all that there's no way we could get to Mars. You know how much fuel it would take so much fuel you couldn't get off the land. You couldn't get off the ground. It outweighs, it doesn't mathematically compute. So unless we have some technology they haven't revealed yet that we're going to use to get to Mars. And not only that, you're talking a 2.5 year trip with people crammed up. That, psychologically, I don't know and physically, we're not meant to be in space more than a week or two, and you start to break down.
Well, that's why, up in the space lab, what do? They exercise all the time. If they didn't exercise all the time, they'd be in the same boat I'm in right now. They would come back down, right, and they would sit in the chair, and they couldn't raise their arms, they couldn't raise their legs, and they certainly wouldn't be able to stand. And it wouldn't take very long. A month in the space lab without exercising, you'd be like that.
Yeah, think about it. Our gravity, whatever, I forget the ratio of what it is to us, but when you're out in space, you don't have that. So if you can't duplicate that, and say you're out in space for a year or even longer and you come back, that is a severe shock to the human body, not to mention psychological.
And I've been reading it's a long-term thing, what might last to the day you die. I mean, your whole body makeup changes, your heart, everything. It does things that your body was not supposed to have done to you. So, and what is at this point? How many years have we been up in space in a Skylab type situation? Where what is beneficial other than maybe spying on the world?
Yeah, I think that's, to be honest with you, I think that's what a lot of it is. I think even when, what's his name, Gordon Cooper, before we went to the moon, he went around the world in that, I forget what it was called now, Gemini maybe or something, but I think they had a secret thing where he was filming, spying, you know what I mean, on the down low. And I think there's a lot of that going on. And I think the Chinese got weapons up there that can shoot down our satellites and stuff. So that's where the next war is going to be is going to be in space. Because you shoot down a bunch of our satellites, you shut us down with our communications, and all kind of havoc starts.
Well, it would really, think about it. It would destroy the financials of this country. We would financially be ruined, because if you shot down enough of the right satellites, okay, the internet would be gone, correct?
Yep.
Okay, your cell phone would be gone.
Yep.
Okay, the banking system would be gone, because and Wall Street would be gone, because that's all dependent on that stuff nowadays. We would be in a shitload of problems right there.
Yeah, because just like we talked earlier, you go to the store and these cash registers are hooked up to internet or a computer or whatever. When it's shut down, they can't function. They can't add 7 cents on a dollar or whatever it is. They got to shut the store down. So you could literally handicap a country real quick.
Oh yeah, and like I said, I've seen that happen to me. You go up and hand somebody a bill, and say, okay. Well, it's really easy. You owe me $4.38 back, and they're going, it is really scary, because you know what? We've all become dependent on your calculator, on your phone, calculator on your computer. Everything is, done for you. If you can't even spell, you go on spell check. I mean, it's scary. And if you want to find something out, you just research it on the internet. I mean, you don't even have to be a literate person anymore.
No, and actually, technology is not just dumbing us down, but it's restricting us from learning how to cope and adapt and overcome, and how to even talk to people face to face.
Well, you know what? I still think when people were in junior high school, right? One of the things they should be able to teach, they should have a class that's mandatory. It's called survival. Because in our technology, we got so many things. I don't want to sound gloomy, but, if the power grid goes out or we get hit by an asteroid, people couldn't even take care of themselves. They wouldn't know how to hunt for food. They wouldn't even, 99% of the people wouldn't even know how to start a fire.
Oh, no, they wouldn't. That's what I mean. We're so dummied down by technology. We've taken so much for granted that, hey, if I need to know this, let me look it up, or this. Well, guess what? If you take that tool away and you don't have a backup plan, you're dead in the water.
Oh, yeah. Or they go to the grocery store. They don't even have to worry about growing their own food, okay? It's simple. They just go buy it. It's funny. When I grew up, my parents had, some property. My grandparents had property, before they moved to Seattle on Whidbey Island. They had farms, and, they would grow their food and trade that food off. It's like you trade cash, but they knew how to survive, and they lived that way. Nowadays, 90% of the people wouldn't know what to do. I can tell you what, right now, if you had a sheet of plastic, a 5 foot by 5 foot, or even a 3 foot by 3 foot piece of clear plastic, and you're out in the desert, could you generate drinking water for yourself?
I could, yeah. I know how to do it, but I bet most people don't.
That's the whole point. I mean, if something ever happened, okay, or how do you get water? How do you know you can drink it? If you can't, what are you going to do if you can't boil the water to drink it? To kill the bacteria and all the whatever's in it. You have to have some type of fire to heat it.
Yeah. The two basic things that are so important is water. Learn how to get water and learn how to purify it, which means know how to start a fire with whatever. Come up with things like your glasses with sun or whatever it takes to start a fire. Learn how to do it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, if you get abducted, people, again, by an alien and stuff, I don't have an answer for you what to do, okay? But you might ask for pictures of their family. I don't know. I don't know why I said that. Tomorrow, again, we're going to be talking about Area 51. I'm going to jump out of here. James, thank you for calling back. Go eat a bowl of sugar-frosted flakes. I am going to, I don't know what I'm going to eat yet. I haven't eaten anything today, but I'm going to go eat something. Anyway, everybody, you have a great one. We'll catch you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Pacific West Coast time, 9 p.m. Eastern time. Everybody, have a great evening.
Bye-bye.
Night, James.